Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Down came a Spidey, sat right beside he, and said, "What's up, bitches? Welcome to PCP Movie Night." We're in the midst of Crew's Choice right now, and we are dealing with a cinematic classic like we have in the past. And it is John Castle Spilio's pick. Tonight we're talking about The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, starring Andrew Dice Clay. Y'all, I cannot wait to talk about this movie, but let's bring the man in. It's Spilio Topolis himself. John, what is up, my man?
Whoa, let's go. Let's talk about some Ford Fairlane shit. And you know what? Clint Eastwood, I fucked him.
Oh! I feel like we're going to be doing a lot of Andrew Dice Clay bits tonight.
Oh, yeah, and we should. And we should. I'm so glad. Well, we'll talk about it more, but I'm so glad that you liked it. Because I know a lot of people either haven't heard of it or forgot about it. So.
I liked it about as much as I liked my balls in your mouth. Oh!
Hey, here you go. Here's sucking my dick.
All right, joining us on the panel, of course, is Jelani. What is up, my man?
Oh, you guys are freaking crazy over here. I had no idea you were going to pick this movie, because the second I heard that Ford Fairlane would be the next choice after Conan the Barbarian, I was like, we're just going man territory now. I'm totally here for it, Spilio. So good job, man.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Hell yeah. And John, you picked the movie that was like the most difficult movie for anybody to find this year so far.
So bad. I felt so bad.
Look, the internet told me it was on Netflix, so I went to Netflix, and it was like, it's not there.
No,
so then I went to like Tubi, Plex.
I have IP Vanish, so I thought maybe it's not in this country. No, it's nowhere.
For some reason, they don't want people to talk about this movie. But we're going to be here talking about it, including our buddy, Brooks, who I think this movie is very much made for. What's up, Brooks? How you doing?
What's up?
You don't got an Andrew Dice Clay bit you want to do?
I do not. I'm afraid I'm going to be a bit of a wet blanket on this one, probably.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's right. Wet blankets. That's right. And you make the woman sleep on the wet side of the blanket. Oh! We also got Fable from One Collection Down, who is joining us for Action Fest this year. Just had the full lineup revealed. Lots of great movies, lots of cool stuff, man. Fable, thank you for being here.
Station, guys, station. Rockin' Robbie, I fucked him. Oh.
You've been waiting how long to say that?
Hey, I'm the guy who sounds most like this guy on this panel.
You're right.
You do. You are. Fair enough.
All right, let's talk about this. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane came out in 1990. It was directed by Rennie Harlan, who was an up-and-coming director. He had done a few things here and there. And Joel Silver, who was a producer on this movie, loved his work so much, he gave him the gig to do Die Hard 2, Die Harder, right? And that movie actually released before this movie did. And by the time this movie, Ford Fairlane, released, it didn't really do very well because the Andrew Dice Clay phenomena was already kind of over, right? Everybody had already kind of come at him and all this kind of stuff. We'll get into all of it, like the history of Andrew Dice Clay, all this stuff. But if you don't know, and I think most people watching this probably will know. I don't think there's many like people that don't know the history or this movie that are tuning into this show to be like, who is this Andrew Dice Clay, right? You know, but like he was... So first of all, Andrew Dice Clay is a character that a comedian came up with, right? Who's a very macho, Italian-American, broski kind of guy, talks a lot of shit about women. It's a character. It's not who Andrew Clay actually is, right? But it was a character that went over so hardcore. First comedian to sell out 2 nights in a row at Madison Square Garden. That's a big fucking deal. That's a big deal. This dude was everywhere. I remember it when I was a kid. Now, when you first picked this movie, John, I was like, oh my, I can't believe we got to listen to this fucking shit. We got to watch this movie and all that. I kept thinking, oh yeah, at least Terry Hatcher's in it. I was thinking a Brain Smasher, a love story. Not as good as
Lauren
this movie.
Holly.
Let me tell you something. When I watched this film on Wednesday by myself, not quite sober, I was laughing. I was by myself laughing so hard. It's in one of those moments where you laugh so hard you look at your cat to be like, did you get the joke? Did you understand why I'm laughing, right? I had so much fun with it. And after watching it and doing a deep dive into the Dice Man himself, I know more about Andrew Dice Clay than I ever have.
Oh, that's
over this
awesome.
last week. Just watching podcasts and reading stuff and watching interviews and learning his life story and who he was. Because I didn't know any of that stuff at the time. I just knew he was the guy who did the Little Miss Muffet, Hickory Dickory Dock bit. You know what I'm saying? When you're like 10 years old, that shit's hilarious. Because you're just like, he said bitch. He said cop. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just ridiculous. But man, watching this movie, the first thought was, oh my God, how much of my personality and humor came from Andrew Dice Clay? And I didn't even realize it, man. Like, and I was like playing some of the bits to some of the people at work today, and they were like, oh yeah, you love this, don't you? This sounds like you. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or if you're telling me that like I'm some kind of terrible person, but man, I loved this on the rewatch. It is not Brain Smasher, a love story at all. It's got a great cast. Wayne fucking Newton's in this movie. So many people showed up in this movie I didn't even realize were in this movie. Robert Englund playing a role that was originally written for Billy Idol, but apparently he was injured or something, couldn't do it. And so Robert Englund came in to play Smiley. Tone Loc makes an appearance. Morris Day's in this fucking movie. Ed O'Neill. I forgot Ed O'Neill was in this movie. I thought the only movies he did was Dutch and Wayne's World, man. You know what I'm saying? But like, there is something about this movie that took me back to a very specific time of my life and a very specific time in our culture. I know a lot of people look at this movie and be like on one side of the fence or the other of this. Oh, this movie's so great because it's before the PC culture took over. Or this movie sucks because it's before the PC culture took over. None of us here care about the PC culture. We only care about the PCP culture. And in PCP culture, this is a movie totally rife with themes, great performances, style, structure, all that stuff and more. And I cannot wait to dive into it. But John, I'm going to tell you, I really liked watching this movie, and I think it needs to be more widely available for people to experience. It gives us a very specific place and time. And I'm not just talking about the level of tolerance in the jokes. I'm talking about metal into what's going to become grunge. Like, this is like the last LA movie that shows the LA of the 80s with Vince Neil there, the hair metal, the continuing rise of hip hop, right? Literally take this movie, set it a year or two later. It's a whole different scene as far as LA music goes, right? It's a whole different scene. So it really encapsulates an era that I remember fondly because I was like 10 years old. And for the first time, I was learning how to jerk off. Oh, speaking of jerking off, John, what do you think about this movie overall? You picked it. I think you probably think a lot of it.
It's okay. No, like, I love this movie. I mean, one, I was a huge Andrew Dice Clay guy, okay? And when this movie came out, I remember the commercials and all that stuff that people, you're going to go into later, when people were like, this guy's a pig, this guy's funny, and all that. And I just loved it because it didn't take itself seriously. It didn't. If you think this is a serious like movie, there's a freaking koala bear hanging from a fan. Come on, you know.
A koala bear gifted to him by NXS, whose lead singer died. How? Oh. But I think that was before that actually happened. But
yeah, but this was, like I said, I took leave time because I was in the military to watch this movie. Because I don't think I bought anybody's comedy specials at that time. It was it was popular to buy comedy specials on CDs. You know,
They were
and
cassettes back then, brother.
in
Unless you were rich.
in the 90s. No, I think it was
1990, that's very early. I remember my uncle having a compact disc. Maybe you did. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't. I didn't have my first CD player until
He's
like
calling you a liar over here.
No, I'm not.
well, maybe it was. My memory's shot. Too much drugs. But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it, except for Brooks. But I'm happy that this was a special, like a surprise. So that makes me happy.
What was the surprise for me? I don't know about the rest of the panel, but we're going to find out now. Art Mooney himself is over there. Why don't you tell us, Jelani, what did you think about the film overall?
Sorry, Spilio. I gotta tell you, dude, it's not that great. You're my homeboy. I love you, but it's not good. It should be good. That's the worst part. I hate to tell you this. I did not laugh at all.
What?
Like, not once. There was not a genuine, and I've seen this movie. I watched this movie like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 times because it was on HBO a lot.
Oh, okay.
I watched it. I've seen this movie. And one, no tits. That's depressing.
Oh, there's tits.
There's
Yeah,
tits,
like
but not,
a little bit.
It's behind the screen.
It's behind the screen. It's not tits. If you're gonna do a Ford Fairlane movie, you gotta have them. It's a thing. It's a and you did get a lot of sorority girl action, stuff like that, but
I ate a pie.
it's fine. And I get where the humor comes from now.
I love it. Hubba.
But
hubba.
it's got parts in it that are decent. They have decent like stretches and stuff. I like the relationship between Ford Fairlane and Lord Holly Jazz. I like that back and forth. They actually have good chemistry. So I like that. I like the little kid sometimes. I even like the little kid. He's not as annoying because he's from Step by Step, like Patrick Duffy. That's a callback. But I mean, like for me, I've seen it. I know the story. I know what happens. Wayne Newton is an awesome scene-chewing villain, and it's one of those movies where I think about it, and you're supposed to turn your brain off, but I still think about it. Like it could be funnier. Like they didn't get the edge like his comedy shows, like you said, Robbie. They could have pushed that further.
They could have pushed that a lot further.
They could have done a lot more than what they did. And it's a rated R movie, so go for it. I'd have pushed that envelope. And they didn't do it. It was close. It's safe. It's a safe movie. And it is Rennie Harlan, and he's hit and miss. He's got like his ups and downs. Long Kiss Goodnight, fucking gorgeous. It took them longer than 6 seconds to run out of that house, and that was edited poorly. There are so many little things that this is like Last Action Hero, but Last Action Hero did it more competently. And that's what I'm saying about this movie. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's like it's sucking Andrew Dice Clay's dick. It's basically, that's the whole movie. The whole movie is him like, I love me. I'm the greatest detective. All these bitches love me. All this seems to happen. I'm like, yeah, but really? They really think, and if you're a rock and roll detective and they know who you are and shit, why aren't you rich? You know, it's
paid in koalas.
He's paid in koala bears and fucking platinum albums and shit, man.
We're like, sell that shit, dog. Do something with it. Put it in the safe. I make a fortune on collectibles alone.
How much do koalas go for on this market?
Say what now?
How much do koalas go for on this market?
A lot.
I bet it's a lot.
Yeah, I think you get a decent chunk of change from a koala.
Now, yep. But yeah, it's okay. It ain't. Oh my god! Because I've heard Andrew Dice Clay, and he could have done it, and I think he was trying to be safe. So that's all. Yeah. I do say, but in that one, Blade Runner does suck. I did say that too.
All right.
Later in
Brooks,
regard.
I'm very excited to see
Any
what you
version.
thought about this movie. I hope you're happy you didn't spend any money on it.
I am. I'm happy about that. But I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. I didn't like it very much. But at the same time, there were parts that I did like. This movie, to me, feels like if Adam Sandler did Cobra. Like, that's like from the beginning, like, it gave me such Cobra vibes. Like when he has the fucking holster for his lighter and his cigarettes and shit. I was like, oh, so it's like a comedy Cobra kind of. It kind of is in a way. Like there are some good funny bits. Like I love any time that Freddy Krueger's on screen, like is great. I love the bit that he keeps just like miraculously coming back from like seemingly being killed. Like so there are some funny bits to it, but like I'd say like it didn't get it's like it a lot of the times it feels like it got me almost to the point of chuckling, but then at the last minute like ruined it with the punchline, except for a few times. It's kind of like that for me. But you know, I wouldn't say it was a movie that I didn't enjoy watching. But like you know, when it comes to comedies, if a comedy doesn't make me laugh enough, you know, I kind of just like I mark some points off for it. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Fable, what was your experience like rewatching this movie?
I'm not gonna lie. When I first turned it on and I was watching the first 15 to 20 minutes, I was kind of it felt kind of dated. It felt kind of corny in a lot of ways. But as I kept watching it, my memories were unlocked because for some reason I just forgot about Andrew Dice Clay and how much I loved him as a kid. So as I kept watching it, I kept falling in love with Dice again. If that makes any sense. Like I was just falling in love with the way he just acts. He's like he does that stupid noise that he does, and you know, just his mannerism. And he flicks out his arms to put on his fucking glasses and shit. And just the stupid shit that he does. So he kept me entertained enough that by the end of the movie, I was like, you know what? I don't think I was in the right state of mind. I don't think I kind of remembered this guy's comedy, right? Because it's different. He's different. He's a different dude. So I actually rewatched it again, just to make sure.
You pulled a Verno.
Yeah, I pulled a Verno. I rewatched it again to make sure that I wasn't like crazy. And yeah, it's not perfect, but I think Andrew is entertaining enough to get you through it. Like, you know what I mean? But you do have to be in the mood for him, right? Like he's a personality. You kind of, if you're nostalgic for him, it's going to be easy for you. If you forgot about him somehow or never even knew about him, it might go over your head. A lot of the things he's doing in this movie. But you know what I think it is, Jelani, in my opinion, because you mentioned it, Rennie Harlan. I think Rennie Harlan is the problem in this movie. Because this movie, it's very wacky, right? It's like wacky. Like he breaks the fourth wall once or twice. An explosion happens and he like flies back to a wall.
Right.
Just wacky shit like dildos. They find dildos in the damn boat house.
Bro, my favorite breaking the fourth wall moment is when the chick asks him for his number and he goes 555 whatever and she goes, "That's a movie number." He goes, "Where the hell you think
What the fuck you think?
We in a movie.
So at the end when the koala's sitting with them, he's like, "What, you think we're gonna kill the fucking koala?"
Yeah.
So you know, I think they were chasing that Lethal Weapon vibe, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That Last Action Hero, it was there. It was like right there. Except we need your tits. That's go ahead.
No, I just feel like Rennie was doing his. I think he was doing his Lethal Weapon impression inside of a movie that needed more of a comedic director. Maybe I don't know, like something like The Mask, right? Because like The Mask is a vehicle for Jim Carrey. Right, and it's very wacky, and it's directed well for what he's doing in that movie. So I think Rennie throws it off a little bit, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I like this movie.
Hell yeah, this movie's got a good cast. Like I was taken aback because I had forgotten how many people are in this movie that deliver really solid comedic performances throughout the movie, including Wayne Newton. I completely forgot that he was in this movie, and he shows up, and I'm just like, oh my god, what Wayne Newton is Skeletor, basically bootlegging his own music in a plot that makes no fucking sense. But whatever. And yeah, the movie's not perfect, right? And we're gonna get into that, but some of the performances are rather pretty freaking profound, in my opinion. So what about you, Spilio? What's a performance you want to highlight? You pick the movie, you get to go first.
Well, all right. Since it's my movie, I'm gonna pick Dice. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pick him. I mean, what he was on comedy on the stage is what you get in this movie. There's a lot of bits, obviously, from his comedy thing, and if you ever listen to the soundtrack, which is a freaking really good soundtrack, they have a bunch of his bits in like a song. So like I said, I really enjoyed it. I love that he didn't take himself seriously. You know, he knows he's a character. So, and it just, for me, it really did well on the screen. I'll tell you why later, like why it left in 2 weeks, you know, because I'm telling you right now, it was the #1 movie when it came out. It was sold out and all.
The #1 movie that week was Die Hard 2. The #2 movie was Ghost.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I take it back then. So, but I really liked how it was his idea to put real people in it, like Tone Loc and Sheena E. And also, that was his choice. So I really liked that. I thought he just went full gorilla and didn't care. Like that scene in the cemetery. Holy crap, with the hearse, with the girl coming alive.
I hope you're an organ donor. Oh!
So, yeah, I got to pick Andrew Dice Clay.
I love that he punches his own punchlines with the "oh" thing. Like, it's one of my favorite things that he does, because it's so like that typical macho talk shit kind of guy, you know, who's like cracking these jokes, and he has to let everybody know, like, now's the point where you're supposed to laugh, guys, or otherwise I'm going to kick your ass, right? You kind of get that. I like it. I get what Jelani's saying, how they could have pushed that a little bit more further. They could have gone a little bit more into the Dice Man character, but I do think that they were trying to soften it a little bit, because I think they wanted a franchise. I think they wanted action figures. That's why they got a kid in the movie, all that jazz. What about you, Jelani? What's a performance you want to highlight?
Damn. I'm surprised and I'm mad that there's so many good choices. Can you believe that? I will say that about this movie. It is star-studded. So you get like Flintstones, but Flintstones was oddly better.
Flintstones is like one of the best movies of the early 90s, in my opinion, man. I don't know.
It's all right. Yeah. But it's fairly decent. So I would say, oh, crap. I'm going to take Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton is like, he's peak villain. Like, he's got the hair. He's got the mustache. He's perfect. Like, he is the mustache twirling villain in this movie. So I get it. Like, how do you commit murder? Like, right in front of witnesses. And then, like, just casually talk to him. Like, you're going to die too. You know, and we're cool. You know, we're going to do this. I'm like, this is the wildest shit I've ever seen. And the way he dies is fantastic too. It is, oh.
Yes. Shake.
It is the shake explosion. I like how they set that up at the very beginning of the movie, and it's paid off. So it's pretty cool that they do all that to Wayne Newton, who it was like he's a Las Vegas god, and he was brilliant in this movie. I have others, but I'm gonna leave them to you guys. But damn it, Wayne Newton, he was good.
Wayne Newton is great in this movie. And it reminded me, man, there was a time where Wayne Newton was in like every like third movie I watched from the video store. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wait, like, how else would anybody our age know who Wayne Newton was if he
Right.
wasn't in these fucking movies,
He was
man?
relevant
So,
back in the 90s, man.
yeah.
I remember
Oh,
him
yeah.
well. Yeah, he was a
yeah,
big
man.
dude.
What
He was
about
a
you,
big
Brooks? Is there a performance you want to highlight?
Well, I really liked his hot secretary character.
Jazz.
Lauren
Jazz?
Holly. Jazz?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
Lauren
'cause
Holly.
it's funny because like she starts out as like, you know, Janine from Ghostbusters kind of, and then when she goes to the party, she's all like tarted up, and she looks
Bro,
more
she's
like
hot as fuck
Kay,
at that party, by the way.
Yes,
Man.
yes, she is.
and she looked like Kay from the Dirty Pair, which is like I like that. So, and she had one of the funniest bits, which is when she gets thrown out the window. And you're like, God
Oh,
damn, they
yeah.
just threw her out of a window, but she just like stumbles up later on. Like it's also, yeah, she's okay. And then she hits the dude with her car and like, all right, you threw me out of a window, and you know, I hit you with my car. I think that makes us
yeah.
even.
We literally just talked about the final chapter on Blood Splatter Chatter on Friday for Friday the 13th. Jason throws a chick out the window. She's dead. She
Yeah.
gets thrown out the window. She just shows right back up. You know?
And she's got some soot on her.
Like she's
But yeah,
okay.
like I liked her dynamic, and like it was funny when she started just kicking the shit out of this one of the
Yeah.
goons.
Yeah,
Like,
that guy was
I
the
was like,
worst
that's a funny
freaking
joke,
fighter.
you know. It's subversive, you know. It makes it
Brooks, she
like,
was
you know,
my favorite
fun
character too.
subversive
by the
joke.
way.
One of the few
Yeah.
chuckles I got out of this movie. So yeah, I'd say she was my number one in this one.
Yeah, she's great in this movie. Of course, she gets to more popularity when she's in Dumb and Dumber, right? As
Oh.
Mary
Oh,
Swanson or whatever the hell her name is. I don't remember.
She's also in Picket Fences.
She was
She's
the
in Picket
sheriff.
Fences, and she's also in isn't she in Walking Dead?
She's in, I don't know if Lauren Holly's
I
Walking
don't know.
Dead. No,
I don't know
think
what
she-
she's doing lately.
I don't know what she's doing now.
Okay.
She's
Well,
hot,
she's in
though.
Dumb and Dumber, and she's in Picket Fences, and Picket Fences was good, right?
Nah,
Yeah, that was a good show.
Had what's his name?
I'm scared, man.
I'm scared. Yeah, what's his name from Alien was what I was about to say. What about
Hell
you,
yeah.
Fable? What's a Zuzu over there? Who's your favorite performance?
It ain't Zuzu pedals, I'll tell you that.
Maybe it was just a chicken pot pie.
I'm gonna go with one of the most underrated comedic actresses of her time, and I'm talking about Priscilla Presley as Colleen Sutton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Priscilla
Yep.
Presley is funny AF, man. I don't know if you've ever seen The Naked Gun. She's one of the highlights of the Naked Gun series, and she
Yep.
brings that same.
Did you literally just ask everybody here on the panel if we've seen
Yeah,
the
we've
Naked
seen-
Gun?
No, I said if you remember her in the Naked
Oh, yeah,
Gun. I don't
okay.
know if
Yeah.
you've seen it.
What's crazy?
He's
The
straight
only
down-
the
Drop his
outside of the
girlfriend. Yeah.
outside of the Naked Gun movies, this is the only other film she's actually done.
This is what shocks me about. She is so good. She is
She
so good
is.
at
She
being deadpan. She is funny as hell, and I'm surprised she's not in more stuff where she gets to flex. She reminds me of like she could have been like a Madeline Kahn, you know,
Mhm.
what was to Mel Brooks. That part where she dies and she's trying to say Art Mooney. It's like, Art Mooney.
Artichoke.
stupid.
Aardvark. Aardvark.
I fucking died.
Art Mooney.
When she did that part and the other part where he was making the gay joke or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I don't have a sense of humor," and she looked dead serious. Forgot to tell you, I don't have a sense of humor. I wanted to see more of her in this movie. She's fantastic. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Priscilla Presley.
Yeah, you're right. She's right. She's really good at that like straight guy, deadpan kind of thing, right? That's why it works in Naked Gun, because that's what that whole comedy is built around there. And she would have worked perfectly in a Mel Brooks film, for instance,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
She was recently at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. I got to see her backstage a little bit. I walked by her when I was, I'm schmoozing with all the celebrities and people like that. And she walked by and dude, she looked like a fucking ghost. No lie, man. I was like, that's a dead person walking right there.
Really?
Yeah. She's up there in age, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, no
Yeah.
offense to her. Like, I think she's
Liz
beautiful.
Marie
I think she's awesome.
Was
Yeah.
she
but-
nice?
I didn't really interact with her, so I would say that I guess she was nice. I just walked by her, brother. I mean, honestly, I just walked by her, and she was at a table over there, And like nobody was allowed to like talk to her or take pictures and shit. Right. That was kind of like a rule we were told. Same thing with William Shatner.
Yeah. He really doesn't like
but he wasn't a complete dick to me. But anyway, Priscilla Presley is good in this film. And it surprises me that she's only in this and the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah, she's beautiful in this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Y'all left me a lot of gold. I could talk about Robert Englund. I could talk about Robert Englund.
You should have gave us 2 choices.
Yeah, for this movie, for a 5-person panel, it probably would have worked, right? Tone Loc shows up randomly, does his little bit. Morris Day's great in this movie.
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried's good in this movie. He's not overly annoying because they kill him really quick.
Yeah, Carrie Wooer.
My favorite character, though, is Ed O'Neill in this fucking movie.
Hell yeah!
Like, I don't know what it is, but it is so ridiculous to me, the concept of Ed O'Neill being a wannabe disco star at one time, and he's so mad at Ford Fairlane because it got ruined because of something he was involved in or some shit, right? Yeah. And then as soon as he so when he does the booty time across the USA, all that shit, it's cracking me up. And he's like, that's fucking brilliant, and all that. Like, it's so funny. But the best part is the way they like measure their dicks to each other. You're a jerk off, and he's like, no, you're a jerk off. You know why? Because that's what I think of you. And they just keep going back and forth throughout the whole fucking movie. It reminded me, I was thinking, man, we've never done Wayne's World here. We got to do Wayne's. Remember him in Wayne's World where he's like the guy at the diner who has these war stories or some shit like that, man? Like, Ed O'Neill should have been a bigger comedic movie star, in my personal opinion. And why have we never done Dutch on this channel? I feel like that would be the next 500K watched video on the channel if we did Dutch.
Which is pretty good.
All right, y'all. Let's start the hashtag. Let's go through the rest of PCPX. Hashtag Dutch for PCP movie night. I want to see it. If you want to see it, let's go. Ed O'Neill was great. Let's talk about the style and structure. I think it's shot fucking brilliantly. Like, I honestly think Rennie did a great job here. Maybe comedy is not quite a strong suit, but I don't think it's because of the way he was directing the movie. I think it's because they were trying to soften the abrasiveness of the character of Andrew Dice Clay, right? The Dice Man, right? Who is Ford Fairlane. And also this movie was written and in development before he got attached to it, because it's based on a series of articles, short stories about Ford Fairlane, the rock and roll detective. And it was in Rolling Stone or something, John? Do you know?
Yes.
It was in Rolling Stone, right? So like this was based on a concept outside of Andrew Dice Clay. I think he got attached to it and he just threw in some of his bits. But if this movie would have been a vehicle from the start for him, you could have really leaned into that, right? But I think style-wise, there's a reason why Joel Silver gave Die Hard 2 to Rennie after making this movie. They worked on this movie together. He goes, hey, you know what? I'm doing a sequel to one of my biggest movies I've ever produced, Die Hard. Let's go. I want you on board. And he's done tons of stuff. Cliffhanger. Cutthroat Island is his most notorious failure just because of the weight of that movie. But he did Long Kiss Goodnight. He did Exorcist The Beginning, which I think is the better version of that actual film. He did Deep Blue Sea, which is one of my favorite Samuel L. Jackson scenes of all time. Yes. And never forget that he did a not so good Freddy Krueger movie right before this one, but he did do Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 Dream Master, but it's not the worst Nightmare on Elm Street film. That is obviously The Dream Child or the remake. But I think the structure's good. It gets in, it gets out. It's funny. It stays vibrant. It stays quickly paced. I think the jokes come and they hit, and I was laughing. Maybe it's because it's been so long since I had seen or even thought about Andrew Dice Clay, but it's just like, y'all, I've been watching a lot of Andrew Dice Clay stuff, listening to a lot of stuff, reading a lot of stuff, seeing podcasts, and man, I think I'm pretty much an Andrew Dice Clay fan at this point. But I think style and structure, I think it works. It's not a perfect film. It's dumb. The plot makes no fucking sense. The plot makes no sense at all. The fucking leader of a record company is going to bootleg his own records because he's not making enough money. Get the fuck out of here. We know that's not how the music industry works. It's so stupid. And he's got his plans are on these 3 CDs that you got to put in And by the way, at the time, if you had a computer with 3 CD drives,
That was fancy boy shit.
Yeah, you were a big swinging dick. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of shit that falls apart in the movie if you really look at it too hard. But this isn't a movie that wants you to look at it too hard at all. So I think style is perfect. Structure is good, but the story itself is obviously a little lackluster. And yeah, I agree with you, Delaney. It could have been a little bit more edgy, a little bit more Dice Man. What about you, John? What do you think? Spilio.
I like the style because I really like the noir effect that they were trying to go with, from the beginning with the narration. I did this and all that kind of stuff. I really liked it. And again, it's not to take it seriously. You don't, like his car, like, got all cut up and then he got it back and it blew up. I mean, when his house got blown up, that was the longest 6 seconds in movie history. Because as soon as they came out of the house, it should have blown up. It was just stuff like that. We could tell the koala bear was fake. It was supposed to be Josie and the Pussycats. Is that
Yeah.
They were just poking holes through Hollywood at the time and the music industry. So I really liked it. Again, he was a caricature. So that's what he did. So I thought that part was great. Was it written well? No. There is, like you just said, there is so many loopholes. There is so many of things that happen like it was too easy. I mean, to find one person in freaking, in LA, Zuzu pedals, and she just happens to be standing next to him. So it was like, no, it makes no sense. But if you take your brain off and just go for the ride in a Ford Fairlane, you will that. I think that's where it's going for. If I remember right, but my memory is bad, just like I thought it was number one. I remember him saying that he wanted to go darker, but the people wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him.
Well, of course they wouldn't, because they were like, it's too offensive for people to watch on TV or in the theater.
Yes,
they're gonna
because
they're gonna bring their kids to see it or something.
You got to remember, I if I say this right, I think I am. 100% of the women in the world or America, whatever, hated him. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally hated him. Mm-hmm. So was this ever going to be a bomb, a hit? I don't think so. Just because of his character, which I'll talk about later, which he tried to change. He tried to go on a woman's side in his comedy skits, and it didn't work. It was too late. He was going downhill. But anyway, so I really liked what they were going for. I can say it didn't hit all marks, but I like how they tried to make it look. To me, it's almost on par to like a Naked Gun type without all the goofs,
It's a parody without being so obvious about being a parody at times.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, Delaney, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
This movie all over the place. It really wants to be a comedy, but at the same time, it does want to take itself seriously for things. Other times, it wants to be just, I don't know. I really don't. Like, it's trying to be like a teenage comedy flick, too. Like, it's got the sorority babes and all that stuff going in it, too. And it's childish, but, like, it is Rennie Harlan. It is. It's something about that guy. He's close. He's really close to making this, like, you could make Andrew Dice Clay cool. You can do it. It gives the air that he's pretending to be cool. It doesn't have that edge where he is cool and you feel it like he's a good main character, and he's a decent main character. It's just there are parts of this movie where I'm just like, I mean, this could be a little better. This could work out a little. There could be a better punchline to what you're doing, and it's a lot of that. Like the punchlines don't land like they're supposed to. I didn't get it. There's setup and payoff for a lot of things in this movie. Like I said, the milkshake, that's awesome. The Zuzu pedals being right beside him, of course. Those things like that. It's serendipity, but it's like it feels like and then storytelling, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens.
Yeah,
and it gets repetitive after a time, to where you have a decent movie. Like I said, the best chemistry in this film to me is Ford Fairlane and Jazz. They're like on it.
well, I think it's because she's the only real actress in this movie.
Yeah, they're nailing it. But this is the other thing. He's a good actor too. It's just he is not given the I don't know, the script is just trash to me. Like, it would be perfect if this plot made sense. If it was a serious plot like murder or actual kidnapping or some shit like that. By the way, what was the point of Zuzu Pedals other than she had that disc? What's the point of her? Why is she there?
Think she was hot? Everybody here, do you think she was pretty?
No.
No.
I think she was a goofy kid. No,
Yeah, she's pretty. That's fine, but like I wouldn't have.
I mean,
Out of everybody in the movie, Lauren Holly's who I would have been at.
Lauren Holly would be the best.
Or her, or
If I
Wayne
was gonna
Newton.
ask
Wayne
you-
Newton with that mustache, bro.
Yeah. Carrie
What about
Ward.
Carrie
Carrie
Ward?
Ward's in this.
Come on.
Oh,
I mean,
dude, she
I
totally
can
is,
see.
and she's got a really great spot where she bends over to talk to him. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
man.
dude, she was the star of so many Skinamax movies I loved.
Yup.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. I knew Carrie Ward immediately. I was like, oh, that's her.
Yeah, most people are like, "Oh, you're talking about the woman from Sliders." I'm like, "Yeah, Sliders
Yeah.
and Cinemax." Like,
Yes.
that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, also Hellraiser Deader, which is way better than anybody else on this panel will give it
No,
credit for. okay?
garbage. Why you keep talking about them Hellraiser movies that weren't written as Hellraiser movies?
Yeah.
There's only
My
4
hair.
Hellraiser movies. I tell this guy all the
What
time.
the
There's
Hellraiser?
4.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. There's only 2 Blade movies, but there are 8 Hellraiser movies. Fuck, I guess there's 10. 11 now. Shit, there's 11. There's that remake was good, Fable. I know you like that movie.
There's 4 and the remake. I'll give you that.
The remake, I love.
Okay.
I love that remake. Oof.
I do too. Speaking of remakes, Brooks. That segue made no sense. Brooks, what did you think about the style and structure of this film?
Well, I'm not familiar with Andrew Dice Clay. Like, I don't know I've never seen any of his comedy specials. Like, I knew about him, but I didn't really know like what his deal was. And I feel like this movie kind of feels like he's being watered down a little bit, which is to be expected, of like, a big budget or big budget movie back in the day, a movie that would be in theaters.
And it was
like
a big budget movie. It was.
Yeah. It does have a lot of names in it, if nothing else. But yeah, it feels to me like it reminds me a lot of like Adam Sandler movies from a certain era, where it's like, as not being so much about telling stories, like kind of being just a string of bits that have an underlying story kind of woven into them. And that's what this movie feels like. So like, I kind of like, and some of the bits land, some of them don't. Like for me, less of them land than, for somebody else. But I can see how somebody being like, liking a bit that I don't like. Just because I don't like, get the comedy, I don't think like, it's bullshit. I just, people have different ideas about comedy. I'm like, I'm more of a Bill Hicks guy myself.
Right.
I'm more high-minded. But yeah, like, it would be interesting to see what Clay's act would be like based on this. Like, I know he was always renowned for being like very edgy and kind of just, saying off the wall shit. So, that's always can be
What would you
interesting.
recommend, John? The Dice Man Cometh? Was that like one of the big ones?
Yeah, but he's been in pretty good movies. Like, I think it's called Spring Break, and he's like the lead star, and it also has the big blonde woman from Police Academy. I forget the name of that movie, but he was also on the TV show a cop show, and he's
Real
actually,
quick, is it Private Resort? Is the movie you're talking about?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, he's also in Pretty in Pink, so don't forget that he's in Pretty in Pink. I do remember that.
He's also in A Star Is Born.
He is.
He plays her father.
Yeah, and I think he got nominated for a very prestigious award for that.
He is a very good actor. Like I said, he was on a TV show. I think he played a detective or something like that. So he really wanted to get into that. Damn, he didn't start as a comedian. He started as an impressionist. What do you call it? He does other.
An impressionist. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it started. He did John Travolta. He did Rocky. I mean, he did all that kind of stuff. And then it went on. And the guy can act. But The Dice Man Cometh, and what was very good, it was on 2 seasons. It was, I think it was on Stars, that he does play himself as a comedian, but trying to get in it. I forget the name of it. But it had Adrian Brody in it. It was a really good show. That's probably the best acting you're going to get out of him.
But Brooks, just get on YouTube and type in Andrew Dice Clay, and I would love to hear. It's everything you hate about this movie from his character, like amped up to like past 11. Like, and I think it's kind of fucking funny though. Remember though, he's playing a character. He's making
like I get that, like, he's very over the top. He's very exaggerated. He's very cartoonish. Like, I get that, but like, I do find him a bit grating a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, I think, but yeah, absolutely. I
he's supposed to be like a little rough around the edges, but lovable. But like, I don't find him that lovable.
He does a lot of bits about blowjobs, and I appreciate that. Because I like blowjobs, so that's fine.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't like blowjobs?
Fable doesn't like blowjobs. So Fable, what about you? What do you think about the style and structure of this film?
Hey, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh! Tapas.
I agree with everything everyone said here. I agree with John when he says he likes the film noir aspect of it. I do agree. I like him narrating the story and that kind of structure to it. I agree with Robbie where he says it's beautifully shot. I do think Rennie Harlan does make beautiful movies. Cliffhanger is beautiful. The Long Kiss Goodnight is beautiful.
I love Cliffhanger.
Oh, that's screaming, motherfucker.
But at the same time, I agree when you say, well, you made it a positive to say that it's a parody that doesn't look like a parody. I think that's what hurts it in a lot of ways, because if it's going to be a parody, then just do the parody, like go full on, like Jelani says, go all for it. If everybody's going to be an idiot in this movie, which everybody is a fucking idiot in this movie, like you need like a Drew Zucker, who made Airplane and shit like that, or Scary Movie, that kind of shit. This guy, Rennie Harlan's too cool for school, if that makes any sense. His direction his look is too sleek. It's too clean.
Everybody has to be goofy, or everybody has to be serious. You can't muddle it.
I think what would have worked best for him is if he would be the only idiot, and everybody else is reacting to him being such a character that he is. Sort of like Ace Ventura, right? Like Ace Ventura, right. Jim Carrey's a fucking moron, and everybody around him's like, look at this idiot, but he like saves the day. Right. You know what I mean? So Andrew Dice Clay could have went full on Andrew Dice Clay, talking about all the crazy shit, sex shit he was talking about, and everybody around him being appalled and like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But he's still the man. He still saves the day. So I agree with when Jelani says it's all over the place. I agree with all of you guys. And I also agree with Brooks. Some of the jokes do not land for me. But a lot of them do, because I like Andrew Dice Clay. I have that history with him. I have that nostalgia for him. I'm a New Yorker too, so that whole whoa, that shit is, you know what I mean? That's just my backyard. So, but I do agree with points of everything you guys said as far as style and structure. But it didn't seem long to me, even though it's almost 2 hours, right? Like it's like an hour 45, hour 50. Yeah. So I was pretty entertained for the most part throughout the whole movie. I didn't feel like it dragged at any real parts to it. So I'll give it that. But yeah, it's not perfect. But it does have a style. I just think the tone doesn't match. You know what I mean? I think there's a style clash there somewhere, and that's what I think would throw off people who like a Brooks who never walked into a Dice movie before. You know what I mean? If they would have presented Dice like they presented Jim Carrey in The Mask or Ace Ventura, then he probably would have been like, okay, I get this character, you know. But everybody's a fool in this movie, so I don't know if that cool, sleek, Lethal Weapon, you know, Richard Donner style is working for it. But I enjoyed it, man. I think it's okay. Like I said, it's not long. It doesn't feel long, and that's what matters to me a lot.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about the music real quick. The score is composed by Yellow, who are, of course, a Swiss electronic band that we will know their music from Secrets of My Success, the Michael J. Fox movie, Uncle Buck, the John Candy movie, and, of course, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because they are the ones who did the song, Oh, yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Doo, doo, boom. So they did the music here, and it works, but there's also a really banging soundtrack here as well, y'all, including Billy Idol's Cradle of Love. And I forgot that Cradle of Love was launched as a music video as a part of this movie. And because of that MTV ban you were talking about, Spilio, there's no scenes from the movie put in the movie that have Andrew Dice Clay in them, right? And that's such a weird thing, right? But you got Motley Crue, because Vince Neil's at the very beginning of the movie. That's a Motley Crue movie. You got Queensryche in here, of course, Yellow themselves, Tone Loc, Sheila E., who appear in the film.
She was gorgeous.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but Cradle of Love, dude, having been basically released for this movie, that's one of Billy Idol's like top tracks. It's like White Wedding, Rebel Yell, and then a lot of people would probably put Cradle at number 3. You know what I'm saying? Now, me, Flesh for Fantasy is one of my personal favorites, but that's just me. What do you think about the music in the film, Spilio?
Wow. All I have to say is I have a 65 Cadillac, bad tires on the back.
Yep.
Trial coats of gold black, but I ain't got you.
I saved that for you, buddy, because that shit, I was like, why is Andrew Dice Clay not a fucking rock star?
Yeah, I loved the music. I loved it. I thought it was just perfect. It was, like I said, corny, didn't take itself seriously. And then I love Yellow. I really love what they do. And you got Tone Loc. I thought it was just a great overall soundtrack. And like I said, you still got the noir, like, you know, dee-dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee. So the music was probably the best part of the movie. I
like the way you were explaining the music when you were like dee-dee-dee-dee. Yeah. I immediately thought, is he singing Inspector Gadget's theme song right now? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Anyway, what about you, Jelani? What do you think about the music?
Yeah, it was serviceable. I remember Cradle of Love like being a part of this movie. You're right.
You remember seeing that music video all the time too back in the day? Yeah.
Above,
on the bed.
Yeah. I mean, it's a decent soundtrack. I mean, this is a big budget movie. Like they're doing it. They're doing it to the nines. This is 1990. This is when it starts. Like, I don't know that there's an aesthetic to the 90s, and this is it. Like, this is not 89 back. You can tell it's a 90s movie, and it dates itself to that, and it looks like it, and the music is perfect for it. So I especially love Cradle of Love because that was this, of course, once again the sorority scene where there were no tits. So yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of eye candy in that one, and most of that bit was Andrew Dice Clay doing his like, oh, like, oh. I had a lot of fun with that one, man. Eyes Without a Face is a good one, y'all, too. My personal favorite is Rebel Yell. My personal favorite is Rebel Yell. I mean, I think that song just drives and never stops and never lets up. That could be a 30-minute song and I wouldn't even notice, man. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about the music in the film?
I like the music in this film. Like, you know, it is like, you know, a lot of it probably has to do with, the nostalgia factor, like you hear music from a certain time, it takes you back to that time, back when you were an idiot kid. You didn't have to worry about anything. Like, you didn't have to worry about what was coming around the corner tomorrow. Better times. But yeah, it is a very transitional era music-wise from like the 80s to the 90s, because it's like this soundtrack feels like it could fall in either like the late 80s, early 90s era. Like it could be either one.
True.
So to me, it feels more 80s-esque. Like, we still haven't quite shaken off what the 80s
It's
quite
close.
yet. But
Well, so the movie's released in 1990. So like it's produced in the late 80s, and we've talked about this in previous movie nights, like especially like talking about the cusp of the 80s into the 90s, like this one, or even the 90s into the 2000s, or the 80s or the 70s into the 80s. Like it's not like all of a sudden the clock struck 12 into 1980 and everybody changed their personalities and music changed and everything, right? There is that transitionary period. And I think some of these movies from the cusp of a new decade really fit more into what it was like in the 80s. Like this feels very 80s because it's not 90s. Like you think of 90s, you think of grunge, you think of like the alternative music, you think of movies like The Matrix. A lot of people forget The Matrix is 1999, so that's a cusp movie as well.
Yeah, all movies made in 1990 were made in the 80s. They released in the 90s. Yeah.
And that aesthetic continued on even to like 93 or something. Surf Ninjas feels very much 90s, but in a different way than say Men in Black or The Matrix, right? Like it, or Blade or something like that.
They're also trying to find their footing out of the 80s too. The sounds they're going with or the music they're experimenting with, even though some of it isn't the greatest, you could tell they're trying to like get to the next level. We're in the 90s now. We got to do something different.
Yeah, because let me ask you all this. When you think of Andrew Dice Clay, what's the first thing that comes in mind, other than all the jokes and all that? 80s, right?
Yeah.
He's 80s. Even Tone Loc was 80s. So
Sheila E.
Yeah, but there's carryover into the 90s, right? So like I would say that culture doesn't like shift.
I'm talking about the aesthetic of the 90s. It's right here. It's still there. Like the way this is shot, everything sounds, it's right there. Like it just started here. And I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one seeing it, but it feels 90s to me.
Oh, it's very 90s, man. It totally is but it's like the 90s that came from the end of the 80s.
Right.
Like Saved by the Bell 90s is influenced more by the 80s than like Good Will Hunting 90s or Friends 90s.
It's a transitional period. It's like you get 48 Hours in the 80s, but then you get Lethal Weapon. And Lethal Weapon, I think, is the jump off point for changing the action movie or trying to modernize it a lot of ways. Because I see a lot of Lethal Weapon of the saxophones and all that shit. Being on the beach, looking at a picture and shit. Like
there's a whole lot of Lethal Weapon in this movie, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we were talking about music, and Brooks was speaking, and then I guess Brooks, you good? You done? You good?
Yeah.
Okay, Fable. What about you? What do you think about the music?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a reflection of its time. Is all I could say. It had soundtrack wise, like score wise, like I said, very heavily influenced by what Lethal Weapon did with all the saxophones and the maybe that noir tone a little bit,
Even with the haziness, with the way it's shot, is very noir, right?
Absolutely. And then you got your pop music, and that's give or take. For some people, they're gonna love it. It's gonna be nostalgic for them. Some people, it's like, thank God we're out of this era. I think it's dated, but I think it's cool that it's dated. If that makes any sense. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we are the pop culture philosophers, so we have to dig a little bit deeper into this film, as deep as we can get. Because I'm not telling y'all that this is a super, super deep film.
All right, John was so scared of the theme conversation he left. Just kidding. Let me get back everybody in their place. All right, there we go. This movie's got a theme. It's got many themes that we can dig out of it. I want to know, Spilio, you picked this movie. It means something personal to you.
Yeah.
What does this movie say to you?
I'm going to say professionally first, then personal. Okay? Professional, I think like it was trying to make fun of the music industry, you know, because at that time, the music was going through a phase. And also, comedy was also going through a phase because the late 80s was famous for, I said it before, Spring Break, Porky's, you know, all that kind of stuff. And this was going through a new phase, and especially for him, too. So I think it was just making fun of Hollywood, you know, because the acts and the stunts were so glorified, you know, of what would be in a regular movie. Yeah, you know, so I think that's the part. Personally, I think Fable could think like this too, but that I saw somebody on stage that, that wasn't like me, you know, exactly, but had personalities like me, you know, because I'm from Jersey, you know, 45 minutes from New York, which is less than Jersey.
Tri-state area, baby. Tri-state area.
You know, so it had somebody that was like me, and I really enjoyed the comedy. I really enjoyed the look. I actually thought he was like a good-looking guy back then, and all the, you know, with, you know, good-looking or cool-looking. It depends on, you know, your thing. With the sideburns, which wasn't popular then, you know, the hair, you know, like Brooks. Go see The Dice Man Cometh. Go see The Day the Laughter Died. Look, and just look at his outfits. You know, these leather jackets. He had one that had spikes.
It looks like kind of like a 50s.
Yes,
like
he
the idea of a 50s
his
greaser
biggest
kinda.
influence is Elvis.
Is Elvis.
Yeah.
Elvis, James Dean.
John Travolta.
That's who he was doing his image. And you know, he had an image that was great. I mean, did you guys notice? And he says this, he never finishes a cigarette.
Nope.
Do you ever notice he starts it and then, because
is that why you can't find the movie? Because he smokes through the entire movie?
Yeah, but you know what? He fucking hates smoking. He hates it. He hates it.
Why? It was part of the character.
What you guys just said. It was a character. He never breathed in. It was always a thing. It always made him nauseous and all. So it was fun. But anyway, professionally, I think like that. Personally, it was nice to see somebody like me on the stage, you know, and being funny and being over the top and just seeing the similarities of it. And it was fun. It was just fun to see. And like I said, when people started hating him, I enjoyed him more. So,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I love that you talk about the cigarettes and all that stuff, but like one thing that I love about this movie, and it's like so against what you typically get from a movie detective. Usually they're drinking like bourbon or something straight on the rocks, maybe, you know, not neat, but maybe on the rocks. He's drinking like milkshakes with like, what's that liquor that's like tastes like licorice, like black licorice. What is it? Some Sambuca. Yeah, he's drinking Sambuca milkshakes this whole time. So like, it's like part of that 50s image. He's like, you know, he's like drinking the $5 shake. You know, that John Travolta was drinking.
The Ford Fairlane, the name itself. I love Gilbert Gottfried saying Subaru
Samurai or some shit like that. Yeah.
He just named him every other car.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all of that, Spilio. What about you, Jelani? What's this movie speaking to you?
I don't know, because it's aimless, but that's the thing. Ford Fairlane basically is an aimless guy. He wants to be this rock star detective, and he is, because people respect him and they treat him like he's a god. But then when he gets a case that is too much for him, like he loses his house, he loses his car. At one point, he loses his girl. Yeah, all these things, all these losses aren't losses to him. Like, he's still upbeat about all of it. He's still ready to take on whatever challenge is like against him. Which, by the way, Robert Englund should have killed his ass with that gun shooting into that hearse.
Is that not the? What about that ending though, where he's all like, "Let's go mano a mano," and he's like, "What are you fucking stupid?"
Okay, but real quick before you go, I'm gonna jump in. There's a reason why this movie didn't do well either. Do you know why? He went on Johnny Carson, Andrew Dice Clay, to promote the movie. Do you know what scene they showed?
What?
That scene. The mano a mano. You know, they showed the ending of the movie.
That's not good.
That was
what are you
horrible.
fucking stupid? We're really gonna have a fist fight here. I love
that
it.
gun was awesome. I always wanted one. Just to go. That was.
It never worked.
Shooter never works.
Thank you for working. Thank you for being stupid. Mano a mano. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a good scene.
Anyway, Jelani, you were saying.
No, that's it. I mean, he gained. Oh no, you're good. He gained a lot more from his from Jazz and from the kid, and he didn't take his losses. He learned from them. He grew from them. He adapted, and it's good to be adaptable. That's where I can pull it from. It's good to be someone who is able to change with whatever situation that you have. Like Bruce Lee says, you have to be like water. You got to be the cup. You got to do whatever. And Ford Fairlane does that in this film, surprisingly. Nice. So kudos to him for being adaptable.
Hell yeah. What about you, Brooks, man? What's this movie speaking to you?
I think this movie is mostly about being yourself, Ford Fairlane, for as unlikable a character as I find him, I kind of respect him because, he is his genuine self. He is I think he's not very self-aware about how he comes off he kind of feels a little try-hardy at times. But, he does kind of feel like, he's just if nothing else, he's very genuine. He's not a bad guy, but he's just a very kind of lowbrow, sleazy kind of guy. Who just, he's got that kind of old timey mindset of, always being crude and joking around and, never being too serious. So yeah, I think that's what this movie is he doesn't grow or change throughout this experience. It feels kind of like a day in the life of Ford Fairlane in a way. So you don't feel like he's grown any at the end of the film, but that's kind of the point. Is they didn't have to, he is who he is, and you can either take him or you can leave him. So yeah, it's just about being your true self and not letting other people affect how you live your life.
Hell yeah, man. I like that, Brooks. I really do, man. You're always very profound. Fable, follow that up, man. What's this movie speaking to you?
Awesome, Brooks.
It's hard to follow that up. I'm gonna piggyback off of John and Brooks a little bit. I think it is a statement on the entertainment industry in a lot of ways. I think it's taking shots at not just the music industry, but all entertainment.
It's like Showgirls in that way.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, one of the most brilliant movies of all time.
Yeah, one of the most
holy shit.
Who knew?
I think it's definitely taking a shot at all that shit, and I think Brooks is right where Ford wants to be. He's himself for sure. He's an original character. He doesn't change for nobody, and it seems like he wanted to be a singer, or he wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but he kind of sees how fucking bullshit it is and how people are just money hungry or they're out for themselves or whatever. And it's like Brooke said, he has this old time thing to you, and part of the old time thing to you is being true to yourself and having loyalty and shit like that. So, you know, at the end of the movie, he gets an out. He finds an out. It's like he won the money, and he was like, I'm getting with this chick. I'm tired of all the bullshit. Let's go. Me, you, the kid, and the koala, and let's escape this fake ass shit that we're in. So I think it is a shot at the entertainment industry, and I think it is Andrew trying to, like, you know, he realizes that world ain't for him because he's not gonna conform to it in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Hell yeah. I like this discussion so far. What do I have to add? To me, I started thinking about this over the weekend. I was like, what is this movie saying? I was like, I don't think it's trying to say too much. Then I started really thinking about it. I was like, I think it does say some stuff. And I agree with what everybody has said here so far. But to me, personally, what it's saying is not everybody is one thing, right? Now, this movie wasn't crafted or created or made in response to Andrew Dice Clay's downfall in popularity, right? Which was happening at this exact same time, right? Mm-hmm. Like the fall had already started before this movie came out. And I think that if Andrew Dice Clay was still at the peak, like if this movie came out a year before, it would have been one of the biggest hits of the year. Would have outsold Ghostbusters 2, not Batman, but it might have been comparable with like a Lethal Weapon 2 if it was 1989. But 1990, oh, we're growing up. Nancy Reagan's been in our fucking ears. Tipper Gore's been in our fucking ears. You know what I'm saying? We got to clean things up. We got to go family. All these horror movies, all these comedians, they're contributing to the downfall of society. But here's the thing. The real man behind Andrew Dice Clay is not Andrew Dice Clay. That is a role, a persona that he created that he has fallen into. Pretty much the same way Rockin' Robbie is not Robbie Bills. There's a lot of authenticity. Everybody here except for Fable has met me in person, right? And hung out with me multiple times in person for a long time. You know that there's an element of authenticity to the character of Rockin' Robbie. But you know that Rockin' Robbie is not quite me in real life, right?
Yes,
maybe that's not true. Anyway, so
90% accuracy.
It's 90%. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's like an 85 to 90%, you know, same hood of Andrew Dice Clay. Sometimes like you just, anyway, this is what I'm trying to say. Not everybody is one thing. So let's look at Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, he's homophobic. He's misogynistic. He's sexist. He talks all this shit about women. He calls them dunces. He's always talking about blowjobs. He's the macho male thing. And maybe the character, there's a certain point where you go, okay, I've created this character. Is my audience understanding the bit, or is my audience think I'm really, it's like the Beastie Boys when they were doing their frat boy shit, you know, the fight for your right to party. And they realize, oh my God, everybody at our shows are fucking frat boy douchebags. Like they've lost the bit. They've lost the plot. Like we got to like kind of change something here. Right. So I don't know, man. Maybe Andrew Dice Clay could have made that shift or change. I think he has. I think he has still a pretty, I'm pretty sure he's pretty successful. I bet he's happy in his life. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, but not everybody is one thing. Yeah. You could say that about Andrew Dice Clay, the character. You could say that about the man, but even the character of Ford Fairlane, he's not all of that. There is a little bit of charm to him. There's a lot of heart to him. He talks shit to the kid, you know? What? Premature ejaculation? Oh, you know, all that shit. But then, like, when the kid really needs somebody to be there for him, who takes on the kid? Ford Fairlane. Jazz is the very prototypical early 90s, late 80s fucking strong woman in the workplace. Not going to put up with this shit. Yeah. But she has a sensitivity towards him because he shows a sensitivity towards her. Even though he'll spit a stuffed mushroom right into her mouth instead of just
that
fucking
scene was
spitting it out.
hilarious.
I was like, it
I'm
should have
like-
been over after that.
I'm just like,
Fuck you,
why is
dude.
this scene taking 2.5 minutes, man? Like, just get it the fuck out, man. Anyway, but I love what you guys said about like talking about the music industry. I think it does do that. I think it's kind of similar a little bit to Josie and the Pussycats that way. Not quite as clever. That's where the story kind of falls apart because the plot really doesn't make sense, right? This dude owns the record company and he's bootlegging his own records to make more money. I get
If it's
that,
not selling, why would you bootleg it to sell it again? How does that work?
exactly.
No, they were selling really well, but he realized that he wasn't getting as much money as he thought because they were selling well.
But we know that's not how the music industry works.
Well,
That's
of
how
course,
that
in
works.
movies they do.
He's like, why should I pay the artist? I'm like, you didn't. That's the whole point of the music industry. You didn't pay the artist. Anyway,
and then he kills Colleen and he kills Gilbert Godfrey and he kills all these people and it's like, for what?
Why?
It doesn't.
Yeah, he was just
They knew too
clear.
much.
He was killing everybody that knew, right? That was the idea, right? He's gonna cover it up and all that shit. But to me, yeah, it's not not everybody is one thing. Ford Fairlane is obnoxious. He's abrasive, but he's also charming, and he's full of heart. And there is a change to me in this movie, in the character. Actually, I agree with you, Brooks. There is no change because I think he already had this charm and heart from the beginning, right? We all have the face that we wear in front of everybody, and then we have the face that we wear to the people that we love in our inner circle. You have all seen my real face.
Yeah.
My real face is the Alabama werewolf. And I'm coming for you, Solo. You just wait and see. Anyway, no, that's what I think. It's not everybody is one thing. Andrew Dice Clay's not one thing. This movie's not one thing. There's deeper meaning even into things that we can be dismissive of. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Also, if you pulled the skin away from Wayne Newton back in 1990, he could have played Skeletor. 100% perfect. Even the voice is perfect. All right, time to rate the film out of 5 possible, you digs. Spilio, you picked it. What do you rate? Ford Fairlane, you out there in the chat, let us know what you think.
I have to do a 5. I have to.
You do.
Like I said, I don't know if it was before we went on and everything, but I saw this movie 6 times in the theaters. Okay?
You picked it.
I picked it. This guy literally was my life for a good 4, 5, 6 years. You know, going through high school.
You mean 45 to 46 years.
You're a dick. So,
I'm a dick, but you're sucking on it.
Oh,
But, you know, I went through this with him when I was going through high school, when I graduated, when I went to the military, you know, and I saw him during the military. So this movie isn't a movie for me. It's not just a movie. It is part of my life. It's a part of my personality. It's a part of my culture. You know, so I rewatched this again, you know, for this, and it just brought back just unbelievable. Just, you know, he had a fucking song.
1-800 unbelievable.
No, but the real saying is, I'm so good. I have a 1-800 perfect, but they couldn't do it because it was freaking copyrighted with everything. But he had a song named Unbelievable. I can't remember the band's name. Was freaking because of him, you know? So he was just, you know, a character that was larger than life. And I love seeing his movies. And it's really funny. Back then, you even said it. Back in the 80s, I don't know if people were more stupid or whatever, like the late 70s and 80s. You know, people thought Bob Denver was Gilligan. You know, so I don't know what it was like in the 80s. People thought that the person you are on screen is yourself, you know, and you said that. He had a really tough time afterwards. You know, he gained weight, he lost his hair. You know, so it was a bunch of shit that it really affected him because he hated how people thought. He goes, I am not Andrew Dice Clay. You know, that's the character. So to me, I really loved Andrew Dice Clay, and what he represented at the time with you can be a tough guy, but you also could be stupid. So that's why I think
you can be a tough guy, you can be stupid, and you can have heart and charm.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. You know, don't take yourself too seriously. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No
you know?
shit.
So a 5.
Hell yeah. I would expect no less. Anybody who picks a movie for PCP Movie Night, Crew's Choice, and doesn't give their own movie a 5, you're done. You're done with Crew's Choice. You're not getting another one, right? You're not getting another pick. This is the way it's gonna work.
Jay just picked it out. Yeah, it was EMF. If you don't know the song, just put EMF, Unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
That was a big song back in the day.
Yeah.
Jelani, out of 5 possible, you digs, what do you give The Adventures of Ford Fairlane?
Okay, Spilio, I'm gonna have to break your 5 streak. I'm gonna give this one a 3. This is good. I'll watch it again.
Would you?
Yeah, I'll watch it again. Yes, I've seen it more than once already.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
I'll watch
Anybody
it again.
here, was that your first time?
With it.
Probably Brooks, right?
Right.
First time for Brooks?
Yeah. Okay. Just didn't see it at the time it happened. You know what I'm saying? I was in the phenomena of
Eddie, I love you.
So there's like I understood like he was hard to watch for a lot of people. And I've seen his comedy specials and they're wow. I mean, it's just like Eddie Murphy's Raw. He goes there. He takes it there. So, I mean, it is comedy. And comedy has never been someone's just straight strong suit or when they move over to acting. Acting is a little different, slightly, just because you have to be someone else. And Ford Fairlane is basically Andrew Dice Clay. He made it his character, meaning he can't get past that portion of it. So it's there, but and once again, Rennie Harlan. Something about Rennie Harlan and the way he shoots it. He has beautiful shots. Yes, he does have that Richard Donner style to it with action and how it goes, especially the explosion in the house when they're running away. That's Richard Donner. But that's also Rennie Harlan. So it just feels like a summer action flick. That's what this is. A summer action flick that's got some comedy. It's got laughs. You know, so it's
an action thrill movie with a lot of laughs.
Yeah, a lot of laughs. So it's fine. It's fine. So I give it a 3.
I think a 3 is a really strong score for this movie.
Yeah.
I do. But of course, John has to give it a 5. Otherwise, he doesn't ever get another pick for Crew's Choice. And this is his first pick for Crew's Choice. For your first pick, you picked Ford Fairlane, bro. That's a lot of balls on you, bro. And I know because I've seen them. Oh, anyway. Brooks, what about you? What do you rate Ford Fairlane?
Well, when I rate a comedy, like for me, the peak is Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein.
Agreed.
And like the worst that I've seen would probably be Dana Carvey's The Master of Disguise.
Good God.
I can't argue that either.
That's like the worst comedy I think I've ever seen. So when I think about like Ford Fairlane, it's a far cry from Young Frankenstein. But it is significantly better than Dana Carvey's The Master of Disguise. So what I landed a 2 for this movie. Like, you know, I wouldn't seek out to watch it again. But at the same time, like, I feel like if it was on, I would probably sit and watch it. So yeah, like, you know, not exactly my cup of tea. I don't want to shit on it because, you know, I think it does have its good parts and I can see how somebody else can enjoy it. It's just not the kind of comedy that appeals to me as much, you know.
Okay.
That's cool.
I'm too highbrow, I guess, for this kind of humor.
I can dig that. A 2 from Brooks.
Yeah.
I think that's good for you because I didn't think you'd like this movie at all.
Bougie Brooks.
Yeah,
Bougie
it's always
Brooks,
been
yeah.
bougie
When it comes to
Brooks.
comedy, that's when I'm a snob.
And what's crazy is, you know, not bad ratings so far for a movie that won the Razzie for worst movie and worst performance.
Wow.
I could see that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst movie of 1990. I promise you, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, and actually, it co-won that award with another movie. I don't remember what that movie was because I've never seen it. Something like The Ghosts or With Us or some shit like that. I don't know what it was. What?
No, I thought that's probably another movie.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, a 2 from Brooks, a 3 from Jelani, a 5 from John. What about you, Fable? What you sitting on?
Yeah, I gotta agree. Not the best comedy I've ever seen as well. You know, I gotta be honest. It is like as a movie, it's a 3. It is a 3. I gotta go with what Jelani says. As a film, it's a 3. But I do love Andrew Dice Clay. I told you I watched this thing twice. And the second time I watched it, I liked it better than the first time I watched it, which is probably better than I liked it when I saw it when I was 10. You know what I mean? 10 or 11 years old. So it grows on me, but I can't give it that excuse. You know what I mean? Like my love for Andrew Dice Clay is not gonna overtake what this movie really is as far as a comedy. So, but you know, I've been saying Robin Leach, I fucked them all. I've been saying that for like the last 2 days. Like, you know what I mean? And other things that he said in this movie. It's like Introspect M said there, you know, quoting it is almost fun, more fun than the movie. You know, stuff like that. It does stick with me. It has stuck with me for the past, because I think I saw this last Friday. So it's been on my mind for the past few days. But realistically, like Brooks said, greatest comedies, like, you know, Young Frankenstein, Super Bad is one of my favorite comedies of all time.
That's a good one, yeah.
Super Bad is fucking phenomenal. And yeah, this is nowhere near.
Allow me to be pretentious snobby, Robbie, for a second. Say Some Like It Hot is one of the greatest
comedies. There you go. Yeah, everybody has one. You
yeah.
Know,
Friday.
And this is not.
Yeah, this is mine.
Friday, you're right, dude. Friday's
Friday's another one. Yeah, it's not in that league, but I can't help but still like it because I like Andrew Dice Clay a lot. I think his character of the Dice Man is a funny ass character. He's just a goof, and I love him. So, but 3, realistically 3.
Hell yeah! All right, you know, PCP movie night and PCP is about to hit a 10-year anniversary. Coming up in a couple of weeks. So we're going to be doing a live stream. It's going to be on July 2nd. I hope everybody, Brooks, Jelani, it's the first time you're hearing this, July 2nd, clear out some schedules. I'm planning a big extravagant live stream, trying to get as many people on as possible throughout the whole entire live stream, even if it's through video clips. But anybody who's ever been on the channel is invited to join us. So everybody get ready. July 2nd. Wednesday night will be the PCP Extravaganza 10-year anniversary.
Nice.
And Friday was the second movie we ever covered as a movie review on the channel. The first movie was Clerks, so we love our comedies. And let me tell you something. John, out of everything that was picked for PCP Movie Night Crew's Choice this year, I was like, fuck, John, Ford Fairlane. Like, are you trying to get the channel canceled? Like, what's going on here? We can't cover this movie. What's going on? I think my brain just kind of went along, like, when you don't pay attention to something. And sometimes I'm too harsh on people. I look at people and I go, oh, you just think this because now the mood has shifted. Like, all of a sudden, people say that Christopher Nolan's Batman movies aren't that great. That's like a new thing that's been happening over the last 2 years, right?
It is.
And I'm like, you're just saying that because you're going along with what the crowd is saying now, the shifting moment of the zeitgeist, right? Where people say all the Matrix sequels suck. But we were there when Matrix Reloaded launched. Everybody loved Matrix Reloaded when it first came out.
Animatrix.
That's why we were hyped for Revolutions.
Not me.
Yeah.
No, Fable, you're one of these asshats I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, well, I'm the asshat. Matrix Reloaded.
All right. So,
Fable.
I'm going to tell you this. Reloaded is the best Matrix movie. Boom. What do you think about that?
Hold on.
Lies.
Wait.
It's the Exorcist
Oh,
3 of the
that's
Matrix
car and half
franchise.
the samurai
Bruh.
sword, dude.
Lies.
Matrix 2 is Reloaded.
I
Is so
can't.
fucking good.
This is
No.
Exorcist 3 all
Yeah.
over again when he does this shit.
Here we go.
I can't take
Here
this
we
shit.
go. You ready? Fable, the ass hat. I fucked him.
Oh. All right, but here's the thing. I kind of had just the memory, the pop culture memory of this movie and Andrew Dice Clay in particular in my head. John, I straight up went to Helena and I was like, oh, I got to watch this fucking movie. Do you know who Andrew Dice Clay is? She goes, no, I have no idea. Why would she? Right. And so I was like, I played a little bit and it was the Little Miss Muffet. I played that little bit, right? The thing that I opened the fucking show with, right? I played that bit and I was like, this was the punchline was, what's in the bowl, bitch? I was like, that's so stupid. It's so stupid. Now I'm like, that's the most brilliant fucking thing. Watching this movie and just diving back into the Dice Man himself and into the history for the first time, really diving in to who the man behind the Dice Man is and the journey that he's gone on. I have so much respect for him. I loved watching this movie. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Oh,
I don't think it's the greatest movie out there.
no.
Definitely not the great. It's not Young Frankenstein. And Brooks, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein to me is the greatest comedy ever made.
Yeah.
And yeah, Master of Disguise is pretty fucking bad, man. So that being said, this is a 3.5. I think it's better than average. I enjoy it. It should be available on streaming services somewhere, available to rent at least. You can still make money on this movie because as us, the panel, and the chat has proven tonight, this movie still has legs.
Yeah.
And this is a movie that I would love to watch with a fucking 20-year-old right now. Just to see their fucking response. To see the same response they would give to Blazing Saddles. Not saying this movie's as clever as Blazing Saddles. That's a 5 for me. But, you know, it's different. But it's in that line. That's in that vein, right? Of parody. Of, you know, I don't think it's punching down so much as using a... I don't think it's so much punching down, but it's like showing those that punch down. I don't fucking know. I'm not trying to defend this movie or apologize for it.
It's fun.
It's a fun movie.
Least, it's fun. Yeah.
How much fun have we all had talking about each other's dick and just going, oh,
Yeah.
like you can talk about another dude's dick and just go, oh, right afterwards. And it's fine, man. It's great.
It is. And I grew up in that age. If you looked at a dick, it was fine.
I still think it's fine to look at a dick myself
No,
personally.
but no, joking aside, I grew up with Andrew Dice Clay. I can say, fuck you, Jelani. I can say I'm a little bit older than the people here. So I grew up.
You saw World War III, man.
You know
Back
what?
when it was World War II.
Douche. Fucking douche. You know, all right. So, you know, growing up with Dice and with this movie, it was great to see. It was great to live through that, you know, climb. But yeah, I know it's not perfect. Trust me, I do. You know what I mean? But seeing a part of it, it's like seeing part of my freaking childhood. So
absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Brother, you don't have to think a movie's perfect to give it a 5.
Yeah.
Perfect. You don't have to think a movie is perfect to give it a perfect score. Have you ever seen me talk about Exorcist 3? All right.
Oh my God.
Moving on. The greatest psychological thriller of the 90s.
Dude.
The only closest rival is Jacob's Ladder. So there you go.
Fuck out of here.
You shut the fuck up. All right. Thus concludes our movie review. So that's a 3.5 from me, a 3 from Fable, a 3 from Jelani, a 2 from Brooks, and a 5 from John for a PCP average of 3.369, dudes. Jelani would have given this movie a 3.69 if it had some tits in it.
It has some tits. Doesn't have any tits.
That was disappointing to me because I was like, come on, bro.
It's like, it's Ford Fairlane.
Yeah, Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Why are you going to go to I Ate a Pie if you ain't going to...
I like when he had the boner and she's looking at his boner, Priscilla Presley. He's like,
Roseanne Barr.
He goes Roseanne Barr
away.
naked.
It's gone.
You see those?
You should have done more of that shit. That
Do you
should've
see
been
those
funny.
two chicks? They were Girl Scouts. I bought 2 boxes. Oh,
All right, Crew's Choice continues next week here on PCP Movie Night with another movie that I've never seen, never even heard of until Steph, the missing link himself, picked this movie. This is his pick. It's Bad Times at the El Royale. Look at that cast. Looks like that should be a pretty solid movie.
oh, that is good.
Okay.
And I
That's
know that Steph's got good taste in movies, so I'm excited to check it out, but I've never
Like
seen it.
Smoking Aces.
It's available to rent on Amazon and YouTube and all the typical services. It's not streaming on a service for free. I love how we say, is it streaming for free? You got to pay for the fucking service, asshats. Anyway, but it's available to rent. And I would recommend everybody check it out because it looks cool. Looks like it's got a really solid cast. I mean, Jeff Bridges, Sam Hamm.
No, this
Is
was
that
good.
Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, that's Chris. He's very good in it. Very good.
Okay, this is a more recent film. I've never seen it, but I'm excited to check it out. John, thank you so much for picking this movie. This has been such a fun revisit, and so fun to have you back on the channel after a little bit of an absence. I love you. I miss
Love
you.
you.
Final thoughts, my bro.
Well, one is I love you all. So thank you, for everything. It has been a couple tough months. But anyway, getting back into it, it's nice. I love talking about this movie with you guys. Even if you didn't like it that much or whatever, who gives a shit? Who does? I hate this time now where, like, if fucking Jelani hates it or didn't like it, fuck you. You're an asshole.
Trash the movie. I didn't trash the
Exactly.
movie.
No, but I'm just saying,
The movie's
we have a
good.
conversation, and that's what this is. I love it that somebody cannot like what I like, but I like to know why you didn't like it, and I could be like, oh, you know what? I get it. So that's what thank you, Robbie, for this channel to do this with not just, good people, but actually really great people, because we haven't met in person. Not Fable, Jelani, Brooks. I would love to, so this is what I love about this. We could talk about movies that we love and hate or like and have a great freaking time. So thank you for having me on, and thank you for giving me a chance to choose the best movie ever.
Hell yeah. Well, we can disagree on things and not be mortal enemies, like Jay says there from Hydra Asylum Comics. Everybody go check out their
Very
channel.
wise. Very
Exactly.
That is very wise. We can do that with every movie except for Funhouse. All of you are fuck sticks for what you did for me
wise.
on Funhouse, okay?
You deserve that. That movie is trash.
Yeah, we just might do Funhouse again. How about that? All right, moving
I'll
on.
do it. I'll still say shit.
I gotta be on that one. If you do
I
fun,
talk shit. I talk shit the whole time.
Also, John, it's great that we can disagree on things and understand why somebody doesn't like it, but it's also good to understand why somebody loves it, right? Right? Somebody likes it, but somebody loves it. We get it, dude. You were 40 years older than us at the time. You were already in your late 40s by the time this movie was coming out. So
I was fucking 20.
I would have thought this movie was hilarious as a kid.
Yeah,
I probably would have loved it as a kid. I'm
20.
like, oh,
You weren't even
Oh,
thought of,
man.
man.
No, wait. I was 19. Oh, shit. I was 19.
19.
A month later,
I did it.
20.
I was 9 when this movie came out, and I think I watched it on VHS at some point later on, and multiple times. I remember this movie, but I kept getting it confused with Brain Smasher. But anyway, John, I love you. Thank you for being here. Jelani,
Love you guys.
thank you for being here. Final thoughts? What you got coming up?
Yeah, good discussion. Great movie. Why not? Let's talk about Ford Fairlane in the future. Why not? It should have got a sequel. Should have got a direct-to-video sequel, just for fun. Just see what he does.
They should do one of those fucking asshat 30-year later fucking requels with this one, right? Where the kid has grown up and he's Ford Fairlane now, but Andrew Dice Clay's there. He's the mentor.
Yes.
And Ford Fairlane is now the Ed O'Neill guy.
Yeah.
Booty time.
Yeah. So yeah, good times, guys. Of course, Brooks and I do Go Figure reviews. It's our thing. We talk about toys. We show and tell. We do stuff. It's fun. This last time I did it, this one solo, but it is the deluxe Berserker figure from McFarlane Toys. He's right over here. He's basically John Wick. He's freaking John Wick, and he's awesome. And he comes with a ton of guns. There's a whole thingy, and it's full of like the cards and guns.
Did he come with the Tupperware too?
He comes with the Tupperware too. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a deluxe figure, my friend. He's deluxe. Yeah. And then Brooks and I did one a while back. It's the Dispara figure, the Motu Origins. It's basically She-Ra. She-Ra before the Secret of the Sword when she's commanding his forces. I had fun on this one because this is still one of my favorite figures. It's over here too. She's pretty cool. I like her in her X form. But yeah, she'll be like this the rest of the way. Check us out. We're almost at 700 subscribers. We're gonna have a giveaway of something soon once we get there. So more is gonna happen. Thank you so much, Two Gun. You were awesome for that. Go Figure Reviews. Get out there and go figure.
Hell yeah. Eddie just wants to remind you of the Flintstones. Brooks, thank you for being here, man. Final thoughts, dude. You had some very, for giving this movie a 2, you had some really profound things to say about it, and I appreciate it. That's what I love about you, Brooks. I love you, too, especially when you're sucking my dick. Oh! Anyway.
I'd love to stick around and talk to you guys, but I got an appointment to get a blowjob from all your sisters.
No! Let it go!
There you go.
Love it again.
Fuck yeah. Was that your final thought, Brooks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I got in the tank. I'm spent.
Wow.
There was this bit Andrew Dice Clay made, and I was listening to The Day the Laughter Died, right? And I was listening to that today, and there's things he's like, oh, I'll jerk off in anything, man. My mom had a mink coat that doesn't need a hanger anymore. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so fucking funny. Anyway, we've all fucked a couch cushion or two, right? Haven't we? Anyway, what about you, Fable? Final thoughts? What you got coming up, man?
Final thoughts. My man, John. We all have that one, man. We all have that movie that we know is probably not perfect, but we love it all the same. And as long as you love it, it's a 5 all day. Fuck what anybody says. You know what I mean? I don't care if Transformers, the movie, is not 24 frames a second. It still kicks Akira's ass all fucking day.
Oh, whoa.
Up and down.
Whoa.
I was on your side until you fucking said that. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Optimus Prime dying is more fucking poignant than anything in the character. Anyway,
it's true. It's
point
true.
is, I feel you, my brother. I feel you, and I had a good time watching it. You know what I mean?
That's great.
Took me back in the days. And coming up this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the return of the all new, all different Blame Fable show. And this one's kind of cool because this one we're doing something called the Beyond the Con special. So basically, half the community is going to be in Heroes Con this weekend, but a lot of us can't make it out there. You know, a lot of us have to stay home for whatever reason. So if you're one of those people, come hang out. We're having a show Friday night. We're going to be doing giveaways courtesy of Razor Comics to the community. We're actually doing a bunch of shows that weekend for the people who can't make it out. So, you know, it's cool to hang out and have a chance to win some books anyway, even though you can't make it out to the con. So, you know, half my crew, more than my crew is going to be over there at the Heroes Con. So, you know, I had to giant size X-Men this year and get a whole new team of X-Men. And John, you know how Professor X went out across the world, the globe. I went to New Jersey, and I got Spilio to come hang out with me Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, and a bunch of other people. So come hang out, guys, man. It's going to be a good time. And to all the people that are going to the con, like Robbie and my crew, I'm hoping that you guys can dial in that night, at least to let us know how was that first day. Let us know how the day went and how was the con. So hopefully I'll hear from you guys. But yeah, this Friday, man. And Robbie, this is actually kind of like my last appearance here. I've been on every week for the past month. I won't be on for another couple of weeks. So thank you, Robbie, for having me on. And here's to you. Sucking my dick.
Oh!
I love it. Everybody go check out Blame Fable on Friday, of course. Check out Go Figure Reviews. Very excited they did a Berserker figure. That's pretty dope. Berserker's a really cool comic. Everybody should go check that out if you haven't already. That She-Ra figure's so dope. I'm jealous. I need to get a hold of a copy. But next week here for Steph's pick, the missing link himself has picked Bad Times at the El Royale. And that's the penultimate episode of Crew's Choice. And then we're into Action Fest with this ass hat down there. And then Horror Fest is right after that, y'all. So get ready, man. We're hitting the peak of PCP movie night season, and it starts at Action Fest and, of course, continues next week with Bad Times at the El Royale. And I will leave us with my favorite quote from this movie. It's a quote that hasn't been mentioned yet. Some people like to play hard to get. I like to play hard to want. I love that. Oh, also, by the way, Clint Eastwood, I fucked him.